Hello Aries, this is Ashley, and this is going to be your reading for the Mercury Retrograde that's taking place in the sign of Libra. So, I did the reading. My camera's kind of been messing with me, and so I thought I could use an old phone to do it. It actually cut off 10 minutes into the reading. So you can see I already have the cards here on the board. We'll go back through them because I feel like it was a solid reading. I didn't want to start over. I feel like there's some messages here that need to be heard. So that's why it's already laid out. So we'll go through each row here. This is going to be the pre-shadow period, the retrograde itself, and then the post-shadow period. So we'll talk about all three and what's coming up for you. I will be sure to attach this reading to the end of the Aries Wrap It Up reading for the end of September. And hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Kind of threw me off that I'm doing this again. So, alright, so in the pre-shadow time period, so this is before Mercury stations retrograde. He's going to be covering degrees of the zodiac that he will trace back to. And so that's considered the pre-shadow period. So this is taking place September 6th through September 27th. And so it's already happening. You've actually already gotten this card in a recent reading. So you can see that we have the Let It Go card, and there are two birds here pulling the twine on a heart. So some sort of relationship release going on here. Now, being an Aries, the sign of Libra, especially if you're an Aries rising sign, the sign of Libra, which is where Mercury is doing his retrograde, is in your 7th house of close relationships. So already seeing an impact there. We have Judgment, the Two of Wands, and the King of Swords. So attempting to make a clear decision about a past relationship. To clarify Judgment here, so could be dealing with a Scorpio or an air sign. We do have some fire here. For Judgment, we got the Three of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. And I think that what has happened in this relationship in the past, well, clearly there was some heartbreak here with that Three of Swords. But I think that with the Three of Pentacles here, there was a lack of collaboration here. I think you tried to build something with this person, and you can kind of see how he is doing the building, and then he's got these other two people here that are just kind of looking at the blueprint, telling him yay or nay. So I feel like somebody here was not taking an active role in the relationship, or it may have felt that way. And I do feel like that relationship is coming to an end. With the Two of Wands, we have the Fool and the Death card. So I think you're deciding to put an end to this past cycle with this person. We have Scorpio and Aries here. And I think you're looking to take a new beginning for yourself. I do feel like that's kind of been a decision that you've been kind of weighing up, or perhaps this is a decision that you have already made here in just the last little bit of time. But I think that you're kind of going off in a new direction here, looking to have a rebirth for yourself. Now, with the King of Swords, we have the Ace of Wands and the Nine of Wands. So there's that new start for yourself. Now this could be with a new partner, a new person. I do feel like this is a romantic relationship here, but take it as it resonates. I do feel like there's been some clarity here that even though you've been really persevering in this situation, you're ready for something new here. I think you're calling it quits. But you're kind of going forward with a bit more of a guarded energy, perhaps just towards this person, perhaps towards love in general. So during the retrograde itself, so Mercury stations retrograde on the 27th of September, and that lasts until October 18th. So during this period of time, we have the time machine. And so this is where we kind of go back in time or go forward in time, and we're doing some reflecting. And what this card really talks about is the ability to go back, look at what happened, and bring your current level of consciousness to something. And so, you know, you have a lot more wisdom now than you did even a week ago. But if you're looking back 2 years ago or whatever it may be for you, there are things you know now that you didn't know then, right? And so by doing that, you're able to kind of shift your perspective of the past in a more conscious manner. And that in turn impacts the present or even your future. And so that's kind of what this card talks about. So I do think there's going to be a lot of reflection. We did get the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is kind of like standing off to the side, looking at something, learning about it, and really seeing how, I mean, this is essentially the Mercury, right? It's learning something, reflecting on it, kind of to the side, off on the sidelines, like not getting directly involved with something. And I think that's really what's happening during the retrograde. We have the Queen of Pentacles, so it could be dealing with a Capricorn. We have the Eight of Swords, and we have the Devil, some more Capricorn energy showing up there. And I think it's really kind of looking to see, it's like you're looking back to see what you were bringing to the table, what this person was bringing to the table, and how you might have contributed to your own stuck energy in this relationship dynamic. And yeah, we'll get into this part in just a minute. So with the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Six of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. And so you're looking back at this past connection, the soulmate that you've had in the past, that you've ended this relationship with. And you're kind of looking at how each of you gave to that situation with that Six of Pentacles. You know, maybe there was some, we already kind of talked about an uneven contribution to that relationship. And I think that the Six of Pentacles is showing you how you want a relationship that's balanced. You can kind of see the scales he's holding there. You're also deciding what, there's two people on this card that he's giving money to. It's like deciding what you're going to put your energy into, right? And all those resources, what you're going to nurture, basically, with this Queen of Pentacles. And so I think that you are looking back and seeing what was equal, what wasn't. You know, this is Libra, so it's all about the scales, right? What you're giving to relationships, what you're receiving in relationships, that's really being looked at. With this Eight of Swords, we get the Three of Wands and the Five of Swords. And so I do feel like with this combination of cards, there's a little bit of this thought process. And I say thought process because it is swords here, where you might have some uncertainty of the future. It could be that this was a strong connection here with that Six of Cups. And now that it's over, you're like, okay, I don't really know what the future is going to look like. You might be open to the possibilities, but as of the retrograde itself, you don't see it clearly yet. I can also see how perhaps there's some conflict here about the future, maybe some fears coming up about it, with regards to moving on from this person. Because we have the Fool. I mean, that is a leap of faith. You're kind of diving into something new that is unknown, right? Now, we do have the Devil, the Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. I think this person may hold some toxic energy. This relationship could have been toxic in certain ways. And I think they're going to come back in. You know, Mercury retrograde, all of our exes tend to pop up. It's like they come back and touch base. But I think that this person, now it's coming through as Leo energy or Capricorn, doesn't have to be, but they're offering this Ace of Cups. And I think that there's some fear around that. I think it causes some stress. It could be what's leading to this uncertainty that you're experiencing here. But this person is like really attractive to you. With that Queen of Wands energy, I think there's a strong bond here for sure, and one that could be quite passionate with this Devil energy. But something to keep in mind, you know, depending on what you choose to do with this offer that they're bringing in. You know, when we're in retrograde, we're going to learn lessons real quick. And it could very well be that you just enter back into kind of this bound and tied down energy, something that's not like an old repeat cycle is sometimes what this Devil card represents. It's like a cycle we can't get out of. And I say that because, I mean, we also have this time machine card here. And it's just like this clock, right? This turning wheel of karma, essentially. And so be wary of that. It could be that you'd be put on the fast track to a quick repeat of a similar cycle with this person that you had in the past. So heads up on that. Now, in the post-shadow period, we have quieting the mind. And the post-shadow takes place between October 18th through November 2nd. So this is like a 2-month chunk of time. So I definitely suggest you come back and rewatch this later as we get into each of these phases to kind of refresh if you feel like this is your story. But with quieting of the mind, what I was really getting from this card was just kind of coming down out of that stuck mental energy and into the body. And when I did the reading the first time, what really came through was just that there's a lot more reliance on the intuitive side of you. Now, Mercury represents our thoughts, our thinking processes, our learning processes, how we communicate. And so to come out of a retrograde and get into your intuitive side with this High Priestess, I think you're deciding to, you're kind of noticing that you have more than just your mind to work with. I think that even if you know that now, it's going to become even more clear for you in this post-shadow period. And we do have, like, you have that resource as your, as a tool in your tool belt to help you. And I do feel like you are kind of going off on your own away from this Queen of Pentacles energy. So I think you've been more decisive about that. It's like it ended, you thought about it quite a bit, you looked back at it, they may have tried to come back in, and now you've decided for sure that it doesn't quite feel right to go back to this person on an intuitive level even. There very well could have been some secrets hidden too, with this High Priestess and Seven of Swords showing up together. And that may come through to you. It may become clear what some of those secrets were. Now we also have the Hermit, the Seven of Cups, and the Ten of Wands. And I think that you're finding some more clarity in the fact that you've kind of gone through this process. You've been through this cycle with this person, and there's been a lot of reflection that's taken place with this Hermit energy. And because of that, you're able to kind of see past the illusions. The Seven of Cups can be like illusions, too many choices. You know, it's kind of hard to make a decision when you have 80 things to choose from, right? And I think that when it comes down to it, you're going to find that you have your perspective on this person, and you have your intuition helping you to leave this situation behind and take forward with you what you've really learned in this relationship and apply it in a practical way. So this is Virgo energy, and Virgo, Mercury is a ruler of Virgo as well as Gemini. But with Virgo energy, you take what you know and you actually do something with it. It's not just stuck running around in the mind. It's something that you can apply and use moving forward. And so I think that puts an end to some of this burden you've been carrying with this relationship. Now, in the last position here, we have the Emperor, which is you, Aries. I do feel like in this post-retrograde shadow period, you are just feeling more solid in yourself. And you're able to see, you know, some of that maybe immature player type energy that was going on. It's like you've come through this cycle and you've kind of graduated to a new level, and you're looking back and seeing, you could even be thinking like, I can't believe I put up with that the first time. But what's really nice about this is that with that Emperor, I mean, he's like rock solid in himself. He's in control. He's no longer in this Eight of Swords stuck mental energy. He's also no longer in this Nine of Wands energy, which is, you know, can be really defensive. And the reason he's not so defensive is because he's completely solid within himself. Now, not gender specific, so take it as it resonates. But the Emperor, I mean, he holds an Ankh, which is the cycle of life and death on repeat, right? And you can see he's sitting in this chair that's like made of concrete. Doesn't look all that comfortable, but he's on solid ground here. And so because this Emperor has figured out that he has some practical lessons that he can apply, and he can use his intuition, he doesn't really need to be this guarded anymore. I mean, he's just solid enough in himself to not have to put up those walls because he has these tools in his tool belt. And so, quite the interesting reading. I hope I didn't buzz through that too very quickly. with this being the second reading that I've done for you, Aries. It's funny because in the first video I talked about, well, because I'm tapping into Mercury trickster retrograde energy, it could be difficult to do the reading, and then my camera shut down. So hopefully all the readings don't go in that same fashion, or it could take quite a while to get these out there. But I hope you found that helpful. Like I said, come back to this during the retrograde, and I think you'll find that this kind of plays out for you if you feel like this is your reading. Now, you could go ahead and check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. I do feel like rising signs are going to be the most strong for you. Sun signs second to that. And I say that because depending on your rising sign is where Libra falls in your chart and what area of life it's impacting. And so, like I said, for you, Aries, it will be those long-term commitments. So you're having a whole overhaul in your own perspective, which is Mercury, in the area of long-term commitments. And it looks like you're leaving this retrograde period with a lot more tools in your tool belt to help you moving forward. So I hope that was helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.